There's a tailwind on the course today. We've had some good times, and now we're ready to go. So just looking here at the Gonzaga crew on the right, just squeezing away from the start, staying nice and close and tight to the island. And we're expecting a good one here, Sean.
Yes, we are. Gonzaga is one of the top 2 crews in the U.S. this year. They've been here before.
We have a look in here at Shiplake. Shiplake are probably one of the top 3 crews in the UK. They were winners of the Schools Head of the River. Possibly more of that later, and they came 3rd at the National Schools.
Shiplake had a very good race yesterday to qualify for Friday. They showed very good poise.
Having a look there, Richard Hardy in the stroke seat of the Gonzaga crew. And they've settled into the pace. Shiplake are just keeping it going a bit longer, trying to move out. As we saw William Dollin in the stroke seat there, just casting his eyes off to the left. All of the crew trying to look down the boat, stay focused, don't let the eyes go out. Stay focused in this stage. Coming out towards a minute through that quarter-mile mark that we have here on the Henley course, 2,112 meters, of course. And it's upstream, so it's slightly longer, probably looking for, I don't know, about 6:20, 6:30.
Gonzaga being about 15 pounds a man heavier is just trying to slug it out now, but Shiplake is keeping the rate high, moving away.
So, Sean, talk to me about slugging it out.
Well, they're just trying to get down into a lower rate to feel the weight of the boat and really use their power, being heavier. Where Shiplake, being lighter, you want to just pick the boat up and turn it along quicker at a higher rate.
Yeah, I'm just looking here at the crew, and it looks like, yeah, they're just getting into their arms a little bit, and that sort of slugging it out kind of word that you described, just looking down the side there and seeing those arms just breaking a little bit early and just sort of getting into the arms rather than letting themselves keep the arms straight and then really use the legs and the backs, which, although they might be stronger and heavier, it's showing not to be quite so efficient in this early stage as they come down towards the mark we call the barrier after about 1 minute 50.
Shiplake being a more experienced crew, Gonzaga, 2 of the boys in 3 and 6 seat were actually recruited for basketball. And then they started to row just to stay in shape for basketball season and stayed with it.
That's a fantastic story, isn't it? I guess it's exactly the same body shape that you need, the length for throwing the ball and getting your hands on the ball, the length for rowing a long stroke and moving the boat a long way every stroke.
I think the little difference is the muscle fibers. You know, basketball being very fast twitch, rowing being a little long twitch. And the 6th man in Gonzaga crew is big. Greg, he's 234 pounds.
Wow, I see that. Joseph Johnson, yeah, and over 2 meters tall. That's got to be about 6'8", I would have thought.
Yes, that's why he played basketball.
Yeah. So it's interesting whether this, looking down the Shiplake crew, they look like moving pretty well together. I've got their heights in front of me, and the biggest man's Tom Scott in the 7th seed at 194 centimeters, which is about 6'4". Most of the rest of them, yeah, they're pretty well matched, and that really almost helps them to be very synchronized, and that blade work looks fantastic, and they're moving together. But Gonzaga have held it in well here and not let Shiplake creep away at all as they come through that 3/4 mile. So they're in the 3rd quarter of the race now, and we can see it's probably about a canvas lead.
Now here's what I was talking about earlier about settling down and slugging it out. Now that extra weight and the lower rate earlier in the race is giving them advantage to just settle down into their pace.
Yeah, and you can see that it's about rhythm, isn't it? A sustainable pace rather than just getting out and going too fast too early. And Shiplake will be feeling the pain now, because when you go out early, you get a lot of that lactic acid in your muscles, the stuff that hurts, and then you have to keep carrying it all the way down the rest of the course.
But each crew is playing to their strengths. Shiplake, being experienced and lighter, want to race at a higher beat. Whereas Gonzaga, knowing they don't have the boat experience, we saw that earlier in the Jubilee race where there was a crab by one of the younger crews. They want to go to their strengths, which is a long, hard stroke.
Yeah, and I like the way the Shiplake crew is rowing there still. As I have a look, there's Fred Peake in the bow seat. To me, the bow seat's so important to set the boat up. We see his back there coming towards us, and I think this crew is just moving so well together. They should be pleased with the way they've been coached. Hugh McWorth will be proud of what he's got there as they move well together, but rowing is not a dressage event. It's about power, it's about speed. And let's see what happens when this closing stage is getting towards the enclosures, and this one's about as close as it gets.
Now we'll see who has the sprint. Gonzaga just needs to keep pushing through before the sprint starts.
Yeah, so the sprint we're talking about, they're coming in. There's probably over a minute still left in this race. So there's still plenty that's going to happen. And during that time, the stroke rate's going to go up beyond 40, and they'll get those strokes in. And that shot's just giving us a picture that Shiplake have just been able to hold on. And it's a canvas. That's the bit at the front of the boat, the yellow bit on the right, the white bit on the left. We call that seeing the crews. Both sets of crews really with really nice blade work moving together, considering how long they've been going. You can hear the crowd getting excited about this one. Oh, and just in the Gonzaga boat there, I thought there was a little catch of the blade in the 4 or the 6 seat there, which just seemed to slow them down. Just when they needed to sprint, one of the blades just got stuck. I don't know if it was Joseph Johnson there, I don't want to be harsh, just struggled to get his blade out of the water, and I think it just slowed the boat a little.
It was enough to cause a half-length difference.
Well, they're coming past the progress board. I always think this is where you throw the last bit in here, this camera position, the progress board positioned opposite the grandstand so people can see how the crews are getting on. And it did make enough of a difference that they lost it at the time and they weren't able to pick the boat speed back up, and that Shiplake crew was able to come through there. So you see Shiplake there winning that heat, the Princess Elizabeth Challenge Cup ahead of Gonzaga College from the United States. So the 3 cheers going up as they drift past that finish line. See the river getting busier, and it'll get busier again tomorrow on Saturday as the crowds come out and enjoy the weekend.
Well, it should be a nice weekend.
Yeah, and there's going to be some superb racing. Just having a nice picture here of this Shiplake crew and just really seeing how well those blades move. There's really nothing that's not happening together anywhere down that crew. All of the body movements are pretty good. There's really nothing to challenge, and I guess it was that technique, that efficiency that just made the difference.
It just gives you that rhythm to continue to move even when you're tired, your legs are not responding. If you keep the rhythm with the rest of your teammates, you can continue forward.